Let me be honest with you for a second. The last time a true statesman walked into a room full of politicians, they probably thought he was lost. Maybe looking for the buffet, maybe checking the wrong building. Because what a statesman represents and what a politician has become are so wildly different that putting them in the same sentence almost feels like a grammatical crime. Welcome to today's video, where we are going to break down the ancient and apparently extinct difference between a statesman and a politician. Grab your coffee. This might sting a little. Let us start with the basics. A politician, in the modern sense, wakes up every single morning with one sacred mission burning in their chest: get re-elected. That is it. That is the whole spiritual journey. They have consultants, pollsters, focus groups, and social media managers, all dedicated to answering one profound question: what do people want to hear today? And then, with surgical precision, they say exactly that thing. Loudly, repeatedly, usually into a microphone at a fundraiser dinner where the appetizers cost more than your monthly rent. A statesman, on the other hand, wakes up thinking about something wildly inconvenient. The future. Not the future of their polling numbers, not the future of their campaign war chest. The actual future. As in, what kind of world are we building for people who have not even been born yet? What an absolutely unreasonable way to govern. How dare they? Now let us talk about time horizons, because this is where things get philosophically beautiful and politically ugly. A politician thinks about the next election. Typically, that is 2 to 4 years. Everything, every policy, every statement, every carefully staged photo opportunity with a baby or a veteran or a baby veteran, all of it is engineered around surviving until the next vote. It is short-term thinking dressed up in a very expensive suit. A statesman thinks about the next generation. We are talking 20, 30, 50 years into the future. They are making decisions that they might never get credit for. Decisions that might actually cost them popularity right now, because the right move is rarely the easy move. The statesman plants trees they will never sit under. The politician makes sure there are enough folding chairs at the ribbon-cutting ceremony and that someone gets a good photo. And this brings us to principles versus popularity. A politician has an almost supernatural ability to detect which way the wind is blowing and immediately claim they were always facing that direction. Their convictions are remarkably flexible, agile even. You could call it adaptability if you were being generous. If you were being honest, you would call it something else entirely. A statesman operates from a fixed moral compass. They believe in things even when believing in those things is unpopular, even when it costs them something. This is, of course, deeply confusing to the political class, who view this behavior the way a cat views a bathtub, with visible alarm and zero comprehension. Now let us discuss leadership style, because here the contrast is almost comedic. The politician leads by following. They survey the crowd, figure out what the crowd already believes, march to the front of that crowd, and shout into a megaphone about how they have always believed this too. They are leaders in the same way that someone who jumps in front of a parade is a leader. Technically at the front. Definitely not setting the direction. A statesman leads by actually leading. They see things the crowd cannot yet see. They understand that great leadership sometimes means making unpopular decisions and then explaining clearly and honestly why those decisions serve a greater good. They respect the public enough to tell them hard truths, which, in today's environment, is essentially a superpower. Approach to power is where it gets really interesting. For the politician, power is the destination, the whole point, the end goal. They want power, they chase power, they protect power, and they are deeply uncomfortable with the concept of voluntarily releasing power. Watch how a politician reacts when someone questions their authority, and you will learn everything you need to know about their relationship with it. For the statesman, power is a tool, a means to an end. That end is always the well-being of the people they serve. Genuine statesmen throughout history have been willing to walk away from power when it was no longer serving the right purpose. They understood something the average politician cannot quite grasp. Power held for its own sake eventually corrupts everything it touches, including the person holding it. So why does any of this matter? Why should you care about the difference between these two types of leadership? Because the world you live in, the infrastructure you use, the institutions that protect your rights, the treaties that prevent wars, the policies that shape education and healthcare and opportunity, all of that was built by decisions made by people in positions of power. And the quality of those decisions determines the quality of the world you inherit and the world you leave behind. When we fill the halls of power exclusively with politicians who are optimizing for the next election, we get a world of short-term thinking, systemic neglect, and performative governance. When statesmen lead, we get something rarer and more durable. Progress that actually lasts, institutions worth trusting, a future worth building toward. The tragedy is that we sometimes make it very hard for statesmen to survive in politics. We punish honesty. We reward spectacle. We click on outrage and scroll past wisdom. Which means, in a very real sense, the kind of leadership we get is a reflection of what we demand. And that is perhaps the most important thing to sit with today. We need to start recognizing the difference. We need to start rewarding it. We need to demand more of the people who ask for our vote and our trust. Because a statesman does not just want your vote, they want to earn it. And then they want to use it to make your children's lives better, even if you never thank them for it. If this video made you think even a little bit, do me a favor. Hit that like button because it genuinely helps more people find this content. Subscribe so you never miss a video because we have more conversations like this one coming. Share this with someone who needs to hear it because these ideas deserve to travel. And drop a comment below. Tell me what you think the world needs more of right now. A statesman or a magician who can make your tax money disappear. Either way, I want to hear from you. See you in the next one. Help us restore our republic. Vote Rachel Fox for U.S. Senate this November 3rd.